Yo, guys, Jaynes here. And with bummed out news, another Michigan native fighter, Kevin Lee, transitions over to the PFL, tries to make a resurgence, and unfortunately gets knocked out in the first round in the PFL, man. And I have a personal relationship with Kevin, man. And I tell you what, regardless how I feel about him as a training partner, I don't like to see my Michigan guys go out like that. Kevin is one of the toughest guys I have ever trained with. He's really, really nice off the mat. I don't care for him as a training partner too much, but he's a really good guy, man. And just to see, where he has his career, he's had a couple of bad knee injuries. It's like talk about bad luck. I think he's blown both of his knees out in the last couple of years. He's had surgery a couple of times, but as a fighter, I don't like to tell people when they should retire. Kevin's coming in. He has 20 wins with 9 losses. He's lost. He just got knocked out in the PFL. Prior to that, he beat Thiago Oliveira at an off-brand promotion called Legends. Lost in the UFC by guillotine choke. And then he beat Diego Sanchez. Other than that, but prior we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3. So he's 4-8 out of his last 12. Because of Kevin's injuries, his knee injuries, because he has been knocked out, I just don't think his chin is where it used to be anymore, guys. I think he's unfortunately at that pivotal point in an MMA career where his mind wants to keep going, but his body says, no, we've had enough. I mean, the fight he had in the PFL, man, was brutal. He was a huge underdog. We're talking about Kevin Lee, one of the top, he was ranked in the UFC for a long time, had some incredible knockouts. If you guys remember his Gregor Gillespie knockout, when he had that lead head kick and Gregor is just done to the side. That was back in 2019. Really since then, he hasn't really been able to put together anything with any weight. And I feel terrible for him because I think he's just such an incredible fighter. He's an incredible person, but the game catches up to us. He's 32 years old. He's 4-8 in his last 12. And unfortunately, again, I don't tell guys when they should retire, but I think it's time that Kevin hangs him up. You saw that brutal video of him sparring, getting knocked out and sparring. And unfortunately, once we get to a threshold as a fighter to where we just don't have a chin anymore, he got knocked out in training. He has now been knocked out again in a fight. He was choked out in a guillotine choke, a couple years back in the UFC. And unfortunately, there's just not a lot of coming back from those kind of moments. Now, as much as I am a Kevin Lee fan, unfortunately, I just don't see a resurgence. I hope Kevin, takes some time and talks with his family and stuff. If he does try to come back, I'll always support him. I'll support him in the PFL. I'll support him in the UFC. I'll support him if he's fighting for regional shows around Michigan. I'll always support Kevin Lee. But I tell you what, guys, I think it's time for Kevin Lee to hang up the gloves.